Ladies, we're ready.
Good morning.
Congratulations, when are you due? Good day. Welcome to another episode of Good Day. My name is Daniel Bennett, and this will be a fun episode. I have Angeles Jonske on the show, and she's kind of over all the different shows that we have here on GTN. And so we talk about a lot of lighthearted stuff and some deeper stuff about fun and shows and entertainment. And we filmed that part already, but I can tell them that. So I'm filming this right afterwards, so I can tell you that it's a good episode, okay? And so it's going to be lighthearted, but also have some important good stuff about the value of entertainment and different kinds of shows and stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, so stick around and we'll see you in a minute.
You know, life is tougher than an overcooked $2 steak. But keeping a good attitude, well, that just keeps it all in perspective. How to stay positive in a negative world. Log on to gooddayGTN.com to get your free copy today.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Angeles Jonske. And you are the director of original shows on GTN?
Yes.
Original GTN
Correct.
shows?
Yep.
Okay. And so you're over the producers and basically all these shows, including this one?
Yes.
Right? So you're involved in kind of running everything?
Yeah, I'm over the producers and the writers, and I think we've got maybe 12, 13, 14 shows right now that we're overseeing between all of it, everybody.
And up until a few months ago, what did you do?
So I came to 𝒂𝒗𝒐𝒓. I was in Facebook ads for 10 years. So I just kind of like fell into social media management and then found out, about Facebook ads, and it was just a really tiny niche and everything, and learned how to do those. So I did those for, like I said, about 10 years. And I even did them for the ministry for like about 3 years. Then kind of fell into, once I went to film and production school with Elizabeth, I helped her lead the writing track last year. And then this May, she asked me to be in this position.
Yeah,
so
that's very cool.
Yeah,
things are happening really fast.
Very fast.
And we were learning a whole new skill set
Yeah.
and jumping into new roles and stuff. It's been very cool to see.
Yeah.
And I know I'm more involved on the 𝒂𝒃 side. My world over there has been changing like crazy also.
Yeah.
But just seeing what's going on over here and being involved a little bit with the show, it's been really fun.
It's been really super cool just to see us be able to birth, be pioneers of this whole network, and to see it come to, to life is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a huge honor.
Yeah.
Sure.
And right before we started, I was trying to convince you to watch Pirates of the Caribbean Part 4 and Part 5.
That I gave up on in Part 3.
Yeah, I'd done the same thing. But I want to shift over more to shows. So since, again, I think it's wild that we've started so many shows simultaneously and just launching. And, now we're in the tweaking process and all that. But outside of this network, like what are some of your regular shows that you really enjoy?
I have been a huge Lost fan, and this is like what, the 20th anniversary or something like that this year. I saw, and they're making a huge documentary on it and stuff. I've literally watched the whole thing of Lost like 4 times.
Wow.
It's like an annual tradition at this point.
Will the documentary finally explain the ending? Or,
I hope so. I know. I hope so. That was the last episode was the worst episode, and it was a disappointment. But
yeah, it is a shame when things end poorly.
Yeah.
Because when it doesn't end really strong, then it kind of demotivates you from wanting to go through it again. But I used to love Lost also.
Yeah.
And it was, people don't remember as much today how much of a phenomenon it was.
It was amazing.
It was huge. Everyone was talking about it. It was just.
And I didn't realize how much happens in season 1. Like literally, so much happens in season 1 because I have a friend that's going through it right now, and she keeps texting me every day. Oh, this happened, that happened. I'm like, wow, all of this happened in season 1.
It was such a fast pace of storytelling where it like keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Where it's like cliffhanger, resolution, like not even just at the end of the episode a cliffhanger. It's like blazing through plot. I think that's part of why it got a little shaky later.
Yeah.
It's because they're like, let's just do what sounds exciting and we'll figure out the story later.
I know.
But yeah, especially the first season was really like a masterpiece of just like suspense and immersion.
It was awesome. It was, I miss having shows like that.
Yeah, maybe it's been long enough. Sometimes I have to wait a long time so that I can kind of recapture some of the first time viewership experience where if I remember it too well, there's some things that it doesn't matter how much I watch it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it more and more. But other things, it's like, I need to forget a little bit.
And there's so much with this particular show that you pick up on things you didn't catch the first time around, so you should totally start it again.
Yeah, maybe I'll get to that at some point. I don't have much time for shows, but I do. Sometimes it is fun just to kind of watch half an hour something at night.
For sure.
Have to break it into smaller stuff, but I do. I enjoy getting sucked into a show.
Yeah, I do too.
So you watched shows, now you're over shows.
This is true.
It's pretty cool.
And I was actually an art major, was my major, so I've always kind of geared towards or leaned towards creativity in some way. And so it's fun to be in a creative environment because I love that. That alone is just so inspiring to me, and it's like, it helps me come alive.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, I think just because either how I dress or something, but people just assume like, he must be like that. And it's like, no, I actually, on the inside, much more of a artistic, creative spirit, where like the people I get along with are free thinkers.
Yeah.
If someone's very genuine and down to earth, I don't care how they dress or what they're into. Like I just love genuine, down to earth people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more the artistic people who are like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And so it's always funny because people are always surprised by like who I click with.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we think that you'd click with that. And I'm like, that's boring to me. I just have no sense of style. But anyways, so that's
somebody thought that was funny.
Yeah, I'm being judged. That's how I'll know that I'm succeeding in this show is when someone's like, he needs help. Let's invest in a makeover. And so someday people will look back and be like, wow, this was before the hair plugs and the bodybuilding.
That's funny.
But, so what are you enjoying most in helping with all these shows?
So in film and production, I was in the writing track, and we actually went through story really strongly. So I love actually analyzing and finding where like the weaknesses or where the beats of a story are and everything. Like I've just fallen in love with that so much. So I love just like being over like how can we like actually make a story arc out of this show and what would make it go be stronger and just along those lines. I love that type of thing. Is just because I love movies also, like even though I love like the Pirates of the Caribbean and different fantasy type of movies, I also love the true story movies that actually like you see like somebody overcoming something or some obstacle get in the way, and they're like they go out on the other side even though they had the ability and maybe wanted to quit, they never did. So I love that, and I think that a lot of our shows talk about people share their testimonies or share just what they've been through, and seeing that real authentic part of we deal with that. We want the shows to be authentic, and I love that part of it, just being raw and authentic and showing the heart of somebody. So
No, it is fun to have, because even for this one, I was kind of surprised. Like, there's not like some list like, don't talk about this, do this. It's like, be yourself, and just encouraging. You know, like just genuineness. I think connects with people.
Yeah,
You
I
connect
agree.
at a deeper level if you approach life at a deeper level.
Yeah.
And so on that note, if they said, Angelus, we want to do a GTN sitcom.
Oh, that would be fun.
What would you want to do?
Oh my God.
Describe this sitcom, and
Right.
who the
Right
main
on the
characters would be.
Well, there'd be one called Daniel. No, I'm kidding. No, it would be really fun to have like a sitcom similar to like Friends, or similar to even like, you're gonna have to watch Young Sheldon, something like that, but just in a way that's not cheesy, but shows a real authentic, but shows you can have fun and you can enjoy life, you know, as a Christian, but yet you don't have to like be stiff and starch, and, you know, there's not a bunch of do's and don'ts, you know, but showing just real relationships with people, and just, but like in a comedy type of way, would be super cool.
Kind of like down to earth.
Yeah. Even like an Office type where it's just, yeah.
Yeah, see, I always
That
thought
would be
an
super
Office
fun.
style show,
Yeah.
where it's like a fake documentary could work.
That would be super cool, because
yeah.
I've seen a couple of episodes, so I know enough about it. I just haven't like gone
Yeah.
all the way.
Once you
through
get
it yet.
sucked in, it's the kind that,
Yeah.
you know, I probably watched the whole thing twice or
Okay.
something, but it's one that's on my list.
Yeah.
It sounds like all I do is watch TV. I hardly.
I know, same here, but like not really.
I know, it's kind of like I talk about video games every now and then, and it's like I can go months without touching one.
Yeah.
I've gone years without touching one.
Yeah.
But when I play them, I really like them.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to play them a lot more. And so sometimes it's like when you talk about stuff a lot,
Yeah.
or if I talk about extreme sports, it's like, oh, I'm always doing crazy stuff. It's like, no, I've done like 4 crazy things in 42 years. But when I tell them all at the same time, it sounds
Yeah.
like that's all I do.
Yeah.
I know someone's watching this like, all they do is watch sitcoms. I'm like, nah, it's been a while since
Well, it is part of my job now. I do have to analyze movies
Yeah,
and
it's
like
research.
study it. So, you know,
Yeah. So if someone walks by your office and you're watching TV and eating popcorn, you're like, I don't know if that's a good use of time. No, I doubt that's what you do.
No.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit busy, right?
A little bit.
So let me ask you then a serious question. So if you ever get overwhelmed at work, how do you kind of recenter yourself, or what do you do?
A lot of times, so, you know, I've had a lot of jobs. Like pretty much every job I've had since I've been in my lower 20s has been a lot to it, and there's been a lot going on, and so I think I kind of got past being so overwhelmed in other jobs. So I feel like a lot of my jobs have actually gotten me ready for this position. So not that I don't get overwhelmed, there can be times, but I find if I just like kind of just stop, go outside, you know, sometimes I'll pray or just get in the sunshine, and just, you know, a lot of times what I like to do is if I don't have any meetings in the afternoon, I'll go home and I'll work on my deck for the rest of the time. And just having that change of, you know, location alone can kind of shake things up. But I also go on hikes on the weekends and just make sure I get out and, you know, and do some kind of activity. I exercise a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. So I think doing all of that kind of thing, making sure I eat right, it just helps me to have where I have already a better mindset and everything. But I think it's also just not relying on myself.
Yeah.
You know, once I like start getting, you know, a little bit concerned about something, then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm relying on myself right now instead of on God. And I think that's a huge thing too. And I have a roommate, a best friend, we've been best friends for years, that like really keeps me in check with that and calls me out.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
It is good. Sometimes when you get sucked into crazy like busyness,
Yeah.
you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And somebody
It's
watching
true.
on the outside is like, I don't think you realize what's happening to you
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, so
for
that is
sure.
helpful.
Yeah, but I think just at least having a good day of just a moment to be able to refresh is huge. If I get that refreshment on the weekends, then I can come back and, you know, the week is great. So
Yeah. When you first said that when you get overwhelmed, you go home and work on the deck, I thought you meant you like work on the deck.
Oh, no.
like repair it. And I was about to say, like, if that's fun for you, I've been needing to paint mine for months now, and I keep forgetting. So if that's your hobby, like when you run out,
no, thank you.
yeah,
That would not be the right one.
sit on your deck and work.
Sit on my deck.
Yeah,
and
you got
work.
my hopes
It's
up there
just-
for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
But what you're saying is fun because with my kids, I see this a lot. Like it's easier to see some things in other people. And so with my kids, when I try and teach them to not get overwhelmed, because
Yeah.
when you say you need to clean your room,
Yeah.
and they just have this meltdown, and you just say like, don't look at the whole room,
Yep.
pick up one thing, put it away.
That's really
up
good
one thing.
too.
And by teaching
Yeah.
them, as I hear myself saying it, I'm like, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. I should do that too.
That's one thing, because if I look at every single show at once, it could get really overwhelming, or all the things I should review and everything. But if you just take it one step at a time, then it makes it not so overwhelming, for sure.
Sometimes I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, I need to prepare for 5 episodes and 4 lessons and this other lesson and another lesson for this and then 3 for that, and then next week I have this and that and the other, and then I have this big meeting I need to prepare for and that other assignment, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So then it's just like, well, which one's first?
Yep.
Knock it out.
Yep.
Just focus on that one and the next one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, sometimes though, like you said, when your mind is just kind of, sometimes it's not the amount of work, it's shifting gears.
Yep.
Like especially in roles like where you go from one totally different style of work to a different style of work.
Yeah.
Like when I go from teaching and ministering, and then next thing I'm preparing for a meeting or doing spreadsheets, it's the gear shifting that's more of a mental weight. Where it's kind of like if you juggle 3 bowling balls, okay, that's heavy, but if it's 3 bowling balls and 1 marble, it sounds like, oh, that marble's super tiny. Yeah, it made everything way.
That is true. That is
just
true.
one more thing you're juggling, it's not the same. It's not one tiny little thing. It makes it exponentially more complex. So many times I do a similar thing where it's like, I just need a reset. I just need to go take a walk real quick, or just watch a funny video online or something, just to kind of refresh my thoughts and be like, okay, now I'm going to reapproach this with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And and I just need quick little recalibrations.
Yep. And then Elizabeth, my boss, actually said one time, when, as far as like with worry, but this can also go with being overwhelmed too, is like, she's like, I can't, yesterday is obviously gone. Tomorrow, she's like, I can't work on tomorrow. I can only work on today. So just what do I have to do today?
Yeah.
And just taking that instead of thinking about what has to happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day. That's really huge, and that's helpful too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't carry the weight of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like someone like Jesus said
I
something
know,
about
someone like that.
enough for today, or the troubles are up. And so
Yeah.
we talked about shows a little bit, but what are some of your other favorite hobbies? I talked about hobbies recently. What are some things you enjoy?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I went for years where I really couldn't work out or anything, just because of physical issues I had going on. So starting in August, I started working out, and I've actually have a goal because some friends and I are going on a surfing trip, and in January. So I've kind of got this goal to to work towards. And so working out has actually become enjoyable to me again, and that's been a while. So I do that, but I love going on hikes on the weekends with some friends. That's a huge thing, that just separating away from everything and getting out into, the nature and everything. I love that. I love movies. I love watching movies. I love analyzing movies and going on trips. The beach is one of my favorites. So your dad, I totally get him, because I love the beach.
Yeah.
I'm like, but the mountains are second best. So if I can't have the beach, the mountains are good. But
Yeah, no, I like the mountains, but I love the beach.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that global warming kicks in and Woodland Park becomes like beachfront property.
Yes.
If the water levels rise to where we're, there you go.
I would be like, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I keep saying maybe we should relocate to Hawaii, headquarters or something.
I thought about that. I may have prayed that once or twice. I'm like, I don't know.
I'll be in agreement with you.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy the mountains, but and then when you hear about the hurricane stuff, you're like, I guess I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But no, I love the beach. When I lived near it for a while, and I'd go on walks all the time, just go there as often as I could.
Yeah.
And some people are like, you get tired of it, and I was like, I've never gotten tired of it.
Same here. I lived in California for a while, and I never got tired of it. Like, and a lot of people are like, well, if you weren't where seasons are, you'd get tired of not having seasons. Never me.
Yeah.
Like sunshine, 365 days, I would be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some things I like variety in.
Yeah.
Other things,
I know,
I'm like, I like different types of weather,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, but it's like, anyway.
Yep.
I do enjoy this.
Yeah.
I enjoy the mountains. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, I used to be like, I hope someday I can live near forests and trees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do really enjoy that. But
Yeah.
like something about the beach, I just
agree.
don't get tired of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I want to try this game with
Yeah.
you. Since
Sure.
you probably are involved in the approval process for what happens in all these shows. So these are the lighthearted ones. These are the deeper ones.
Okay.
I'll kick it off, and then
Okay.
you can choose. I'll start with
Sure.
the red one. So if you could be any animal for a day, which one would you be, and what would you do?
Oh gosh. Well, okay, since we've talked about the beach, I'll just say a dolphin. I'd be swimming in the waters, looking at all the different marine life that probably we as people don't get to see and experience and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, realistically, a dolphin would probably be one of the best ones, I think.
They are
as
one
far
of the
as swim.
smartest ones, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say.
I know.
I know.
Who
they're
knows?
dolphins. I know. So I feel like people are like, oh, they're the smartest, and humans are just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, there's no comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I said like a whale or some kind of deep sea
okay.
animal.
Yeah.
But, probably realistically like an eagle or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go either really high up or really
Yeah.
low down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, an eagle would be cool just to be able to see things from all that perspective.
right. Yeah.
And to fly yourself so you don't have to drive in a car and be behind traffic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Would be cool. But if everyone could fly, the skies would be so congested.
That's true. Like the Jetsons, though.
I've seen some bad drivers that I'd never want to have. That's why when they say like, "Where are the flying cars?" I'm like,
Yeah.
Have you seen drivers?
Seriously.
Can you imagine these people in the sky flying over your
This
house?
is true. This is true. And there's no lanes up there, so.
Yeah, complete chaos.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're a bit more strict with flying.
Me too.
If people start doing like drone deliveries, I was like, what happens when there's
Yeah.
like 100 over your house at
yeah.
any moment?
That's true.
So many drones falling and dropping, and
That is true.
yeah, and then you're gonna have people like, you know how they have porch pirates, people who steal packages off doorways. And there's people like flying around trying to, with nets catching.
They just need to figure out how to transport it. So there's like translate it so that it like ends up in our house without having to like actually go out there.
3D printers.
Yeah, there
Maybe.
you go.
Well, let's see. Okay, your turn.
Okay,
Your turn.
my turn. All right. What's a bizarre talent you wish you had?
I wish I had. I don't know if I wish I had a bizarre one. So why can't I get a useful one?
But if you had a bizarre one, it'd be great at parties.
Yeah. If I had a bizarre talent, I'd have to, let's see, like juggling like 20 things. Like how cool would that be?
While
just
you're
to
eating
keep-
sushi.
Right. Because then you're like, check this out. Like, and you just keep going and going and going. I no clue. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, that's a really hard one for me too. I guess, how about painting blindfolded with the image upside down and then it turns back around? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
It's still a little bizarre though. Not everybody
Yeah.
does it.
That's true. Impressions. I would love to be able to do impressions.
Okay.
Like I can't do accents and I
Yeah.
can't do impressions.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I try, my wife laughs at me so much because no matter how hard I try, I just sound identical. I can't do it.
Did you
I've-
see the episode of Friends whenever Joey tried to do I think it was an English accent or something and everything turned out Jamaican?
it's basically it. Not Jamaican for me, but it's basically
Yeah.
the same deal. Yeah, so that would be cool because
Yeah.
like one of my favorite things is see like Christopher Walken impressions, or there's certain people where lots of people can do an impression of them, and I never get tired of it. I love seeing people who can impersonate other people.
Yeah.
Someday someone's gonna make fun of me and impersonate me, and I'll be like, I'm done. I cannot stand being made fun of. so and I'll be like, Lord, I have to get them back. I have to learn to impersonate them back. All right. So real quick, what are some of your favorite Christmas movies? We're in the Christmas season right now.
I think my favorite is probably Elf. I love that one. What else? Let's see. Probably Elf. I mean, Die Hard is technically, they
Yeah.
say it is Christmas.
Yeah.
It does have like some Christmas stuff in it.
I've waffled on that one.
Yeah.
If it's Christmas or not, because it happens on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
There's a Christmas tree in it.
Yeah. That's enough to be Christmas to me.
Yeah.
I like the Grinch, not the cartoon. Well, the cartoon one's okay, but like the one with
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I do
Yeah.
like that one too, though. But
Yeah, no, those are good ones. I like
Yeah.
Elf. My wife hates
Yeah.
Elf. I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's some things that I guess comedies are very hit or miss.
It is
You
true.
either love them or you totally hate them, it seems.
And Jim Carrey is, or not Jim Carrey, but who's the guy in
Will
it?
Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. He's like, can be really obnoxious and annoying to some people and then funny to others. So,
Yeah. Sometimes, for me, like, I really like him in some things.
Yeah.
But then a lot of stuff he
Same.
does isn't my sense of humor.
same.
And
Yeah.
yeah, although he has a speech award at a Mark Twain. His Mark Twain acceptance speech is really funny. He
I have not
pretends to
seen
start
that.
getting mad at his wife, but it's all sarcastic. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so so let me ask a philosophical question real quick
Oh, great.
to wrap up. So we've talked about shows,
Yeah.
hobbies, fun stuff,
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. Do you see that as a valid use of time, or do you see that as a necessary evil to recharge and then get back to the important stuff? Like, how do you find meaning in it?
Yeah. So I do see it as a valid use of time for a few things. Well, for number one, it really helps my imagination. And like, I think imagination, just to like keep it going and keep it like outside of the box.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we can get so into our own little world. And for me personally, it helps me get out of my world and just to dream. Like, I watched a movie this weekend that was like fantastic called Bookworm. And it's just more fantasy type of story in some ways and everything, but it just like helps me to like, it reignites my imagination.
Yeah.
And it kind of refreshes my imagination that way. And it actually, that helps it. I feel like that kind of just goes into all different areas of my life then, including work and like even problem solving, you know, other things. It just opens up my imagination more. So I feel like it's very useful for me.
Yeah, I love that answer. I agree
nice.
completely. I find that having fun keeps me childlike, makes me a better dad, a better minister, a better worker. Like,
Yeah.
I'm more creative in how I solve problems, how I approach things, and just staying in touch with my inner child. Okay, I don't like the phrase inner child, but like my inner childlikeness.
Yeah.
And just the enjoyment of life and a sense of wonder, a sense of adventure, a sense of humor,
Yeah.
having all those things, just enjoying those parts of life make every other part of my life richer.
Yep.
And so I don't see it as a separate thing. I love how things interconnect. So glad I haven't heard many other people say that.
Oh, wow.
Or I don't know if I've heard anybody else say it that way, that you said it. So I love that because I completely agree that
Yeah.
I think it multiplies how we approach everything else in life.
Yep.
Like, I've even told people, like, when I had a job that was spreadsheets, like spreadsheets all day, and lots of people look at it like, this is terrible, it's boring. I was like, I see this as a game. And,
Wow.
I try to outdo my score.
I don't know if I'd go that far. No,
I know, and I was like, I see this
That's
as a fun challenge
yeah.
where I'm trying, and internally, I tried to like outdo myself.
That's
I
awesome.
tried to impress myself, like, no, I'm not just trying to solve this problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to solve it with style. I'm
Yeah.
trying to solve it in a way where it's even better than it was before.
That's
Each
awesome.
time we had to adjust a schedule or something like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, but that was me having fun with it, which I couldn't do if I'd become a boring person.
Yeah.
You know, it
And
just
it's so much more. It's so much more enjoyable
Yeah.
to approach something like that versus just starchy and just yeah.
we're out of time.
Yeah.
It's fun hanging out. Fun
Yeah,
chatting.
you too.
And that's it for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. And don't forget, today's going to be a good day. I'll see you next time.